Hey everyone, this is Avi for The Art of Nothing, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to be a good, solid stage partner. Quote, "The most empowering relationships are the ones in which each partner lifts the other to a higher possession of their own being," unquote. And this is by a French author named Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And he's a kind of a biologist, philosopher, all-in-one researcher kind of guy. So he does a bunch of stuff. Thought this quote was very important because it's true. At least it was true to me and in my experiences when I do improv. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 9 practical ways to be a better improv stage partner. Both at shows, off shows, during practice, or just hanging around doing some improv skits. So I'm going to get right into it. Number 1. If you, and this is going to be very practical right here because I've done this so many times. So here we go. Number 1, if you are not in the scene and on the side, please respect your teammates and the people in the audience, and give them your full attention to whoever's currently doing a scene on stage. Okay? So, to break this down a little bit more, don't fiddle with your hands or with your face or with your hair or with your clothing when you're on the sidelines watching your teammates do a scene or do a set. I'm guilty of this. I have to be honest. I'm very guilty of this until someone pointed it out to me and told me don't do that because it's distracting. So I was like, all right, not going to do that anymore. Don't talk to your team about what you're going to do next. If there's a set going on stage and you're on the sidelines, don't converse with your sideline teammates. That's pre-proving, and it's also really distracting because the audience is actually smarter than you think. They'll pick up when when your focus or when your attention is shifted. So if you're not looking at the scene and you're talking to your friend, the audience will notice, because there's nothing else happening. The focus of attention is so condensed that anything that happens on the peripheral, the audience will pick it up immediately. And I've been in hundreds of shows in the audience where I've been like, okay, I can't look at the scene because I'm looking out on the sidelines. This one is a big problem, which I'm going to go much more in depth later in this video and in future videos, because it's part of a much bigger problem that goes way more deep than any of us think. And that is, don't look like you're thinking. And this is so hard because improv is supposed to be all about spontaneity and being in the moment and, having interactions based on what just happened. And when you're thinking about what you're doing, if you're standing on the side, or even if you're in the scene, you lose that interaction. You're not present with the person. And if you look like you're thinking, and you actually are thinking of what to do next, that's also a form of pre-prov. That's also kind of distracting because you're kind of being selfish. What you're really saying is, how can I be more funny than you when you're thinking? Because you're trying to think of other things that you can do or other things to make the scene better for you or maybe for another person. So it could go both ways, but it's selfish because it takes away from the scene and you're not being fully present. And I'm going to go into way more detail about that. So don't worry. And the fourth thing under this first point is don't hesitate. Okay? If you're gonna do something, if your body moves, go with your body. Okay? Don't second guess yourself. Hesitation is by far one of the worst scene killers in improv. Not only does it take attention away from the scene that's going on, it also makes you look not confident, makes you look like you don't know what you're doing, and it makes your whole team suffer, because if you had a really good idea, you could have gone, into the next scene with this boom, beautiful idea, and you're not exploring it. So it kind of hurts you on all fronts. Hesitation is by far one of the biggest obstacles in improv that is hard to overcome. So don't hesitate. If your body moves, go with your body. If you have an idea, share that idea. Bring it out on stage. And of course it's a balancing act with everything. You want to also give other people a chance to play and to explore their ideas as well. And that's where the give and take comes in. That's where the balance of improv comes in. So that's point number one. Point number two, huge one if you want to be a good improviser and a good stage partner. Listening. Now, listening, there's a lot of confusion on listening. And I'm going to give you a clear definition on what listening actually is. And one of the main points is a lot of people aren't really aware of how they listen, which can be a problem. Because a lot of people think that when they're listening, no, this is actually true. When a lot of people are quote unquote listening, what they're really doing is thinking about what they're going to be saying next, right? And that's not really listening. That's like thinking to yourself with no respect for the person in front of you talking about what they're talking about, okay? That's not real listening. Real listening, and here's the key point right here. Real listening is actually understanding what the person is saying contextually, what they're saying contextually in that situation, and also how they're saying it. So what feeling are they invoking with that specific sentence or that phrase or whatever, okay? And listening isn't only vocal, it's not only just words, it's also body language. So how is that person standing? What are they saying about their stance? Are they being dominant with their chest out a lot? Are they hiding in shame or fear, closing up their body? Body language is very important. So listening goes in kind of two ways. It's what you're saying, three ways. What you're saying, how you're saying it with the feeling, and your body language, how your body is saying it. And you have to be paying attention to all of those aspects. Because when you do, then you get really good information that you can use to give gifts and throw back into the scene, right? And that's being a really good stage partner. If your listening is good, not great, if your listening is just good, you've already surpassed like 90% of improvisers. Because a lot of improvisers are just stuck in their own head a lot of the time. And they're only thinking about what they're going to be saying and how they could be funny and what they can do. And that's something that's hard to get over. But once you get over it and you start to actually see the dynamics of your scene partner, your scenes will be so great and so beautiful because you have information. You're being present to what's happening on stage. And it's great. It's really important. Listening is one of the biggest key to unlocking your greatest potential in being a good stage partner and being a good improviser in general. Cool. All right. Third point is you need to be selfless, okay, when you're doing improv. And when I mean selfless, I mean concerned with the needs and the wants of others. A really good team, and you'll see this on stage a lot, a really good team does this habitually. They are only focused on the other person all the time. They are completely focused on their needs, their wants, and what their ideas are. And this is so cool because when everyone in the team is concerned with what other people want, you suddenly start to serve each other. And you serve each other, you serve each other, you serve each other. And by doing that, you're building really great scenes. You're doing really great improv. You're including listening. You're being selfless. You're paying attention. You're being in the moment. And that's really, really cool. So be selfless. Find people who you want to improv with that want to serve your needs, and you want to serve their needs and their wants in the improv contextual world. So that's really great. Number 4, and this kind of throws back to being selfless a little bit, but be the improviser that you would want to improvise with, in terms, if you want other people to be listening to your ideas and to your concepts and to your scene work, be the person who does that to other people. And something amazing will start to happen over time. Those people will see like, wow, that person's really listening to me. That person's really understanding my scene work. That person's really seeing what I'm doing in the moment. You know what? Let me give the gifts back. Let me do the same things back. And they're going to want to reciprocate those things to you because they want to be better and they want to be on your level. So when people see that you have transcended and gone above and beyond, they want to meet you there too. And they'll come up with you. And the people who don't won't, and you won't improvise with them. That's just how it is. Number 5? Yes, number 5. And this is so important that I'm gonna stress it 2 times. Actually, it's another point. It's the next point. You want to stay in the moment and respond honestly to your partner. Staying in the moment. I say that a lot. And this is something that's really difficult, being in the moment. Truly being in the moment. Truly being in the moment is not what you think it is. Because it's precisely that. You can't even think about being in the moment. Because if you're thinking about being in the moment, you're not in the moment. You're not being in the moment. And so you kind of have to, this is sound crazy, but you kind of have to untrain your brain from time or thinking about things in time. It's so counterintuitive because when you're saying to yourself, all right, I'm going to be in the moment. I'm going to be in the moment. You're not being in the moment. In fact, here's something crazy that was a really cool insight that I figured out a couple months ago. You as an individual, as a being, you're always in the moment, no matter what. You can't not ever be in the moment. It's the thinking that causes us to not be in the moment. Because we're thinking about, oh, I'm going to be in the moment. I'm in the moment right now. I'm in the moment right now. No, you're thinking about being in the moment. You're not actually being in the moment. If you were actually being in the moment, you wouldn't be thinking thoughts, right? You wouldn't be thinking about anything except about nothing. You would just be the moment, right? And that's kind of the goal in improv, to be the moment, to be the here, to be the now. And it's incredibly important. And to supplement this, in my life, I had to start meditating a lot. And I still meditate every single day. And doing research about spirituality and personal development work and, and awareness. And I found out that the more I worked on myself and the more meditation I did, the better I became at improv. Because all the personal development, all the spiritual meditation, consciousness work is just about being in the moment and being here, being now, being present, and kind of stripping all your self-limiting beliefs away and stripping all your bad conditioning away and just being here. So that's really important. That's super important. And it's hard for me to talk about it because it's like being in a different dimension, almost. If you're being in the moment, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't even be thinking about it. So it's kind of counterintuitive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6. Again, I'm going to repeat this. You have to stay singularly focused on the present moment. And the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, without thinking about being in the moment. So again, meditation really helps with this because your brain will start to be more intuitive with the current moment. It'll start to forget about your thoughts. The more you do meditation, the more you practice. And when you go on stage, it actually becomes a lot easier on stage because there's pressure on you and adrenaline is pumping through you because there's an audience, it's a show, it's exciting, you're nervous. So what you can do is you can use that energy and be the moment, be the now, be the here. And that's great. And that takes a lot of practice and training. And I'm going to talk about that in different videos and how I kind of use my process to be, to improve my improv skills and to be better and to be a better stage partner. Because ultimately, I want to serve the other person, I have no wants, I have no needs. I want to be there for that person no matter what when we're doing a scene on stage. Cool. Which one was this? I'm like losing count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm on number 7. Number 7. This also follows in line with being in the present moment, and that is have no thought of what you're going to do next. Really, really useful. When you're not thinking about what you're doing next, you're here. You're in front of your partner. You're doing improv. And in turn, it's doing you. And having no thought of what's going to happen next is, again, really hard to master. Because we're always in thinking what's next mode. What am I going to do here? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do after that scene? What am I going to do right after he says this thing that I hope he says, that he might not even say? So you see our brain is actually, or our mind really tricks us a lot of the times. Because when we'll say to ourselves, oh, okay, I'm going to have no thought of what's going to happen next. And then what happens? We start thinking about what's going to be happening next or what we're going to be doing next. So again, meditation's really good in this. And there's a lot of exercises in improv that we can utilize to shed us of this conditioning. And that comes in the form of spontaneous scene work, which I'll give an exercise at the end of this video about, which can help you shed some of that bad conditioning of thinking what's going to be happening next. Number 8, being open to anything. Obviously the question is going to come up, how do you become more open? Well, there's 2 ways really. There's a lot of ways, but these are the 2 most practical ways that I found that helped me. Physically being more open. So your body language, adjusting your body language so that you're receiving, quote unquote, more information. So opening up your arms and your legs and pretending like your heart is, or your chest is opening up to receive, whatever gifts your scene partner is giving you, or that your team is giving you. So physically being open is a great way to start to become psychologically more open. Which brings me to my next point, psychological openness. So imagining that you're opening up. right? Imagining that your mind is just this flexible piece of material that can open up and receive information from other people. And saying yes to everything habitually in your mind. Yes, 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 yes. Those two exercises in tandem, and as you do those more and more, you actually start to feel more open. And you start to feel like you can receive more from other people. And you can start accepting what other people are saying. And if the whole team does this, then it's great, because you say stuff, they say stuff, and it trades off back and forth. So that's really cool. And finally, number 9. This is to kind of bring it all home. Trust that improv comedy, or that improvisation, the concept of improvisation, will take care of you. This is really cool because it's a sort of free falling. When you put your trust into something, you no longer, I should say, if you fully 100% put your trust into something, you no longer worry about the outcome. You no longer care about the outcome, because whatever you do is right. Whatever you do is good. Whatever you show your scene partners is the best possible thing at that current moment. And developing that trust comes with practice, comes with exercising different improv skills and techniques and methods. It comes with good scene work. It comes with great teammates. You'll come to a point in your improv where you're like, you know what? I've done so much of this that everything's gonna be fine. I trust it. I trust that it will take care of me, and that whatever I do is right. No matter what the circumstances are. And to let go of that is such beautiful freedom, because you're not anxious anymore. You're not nervous. You are just being. You are just doing. And that's the goal here with this channel, to get you guys into that state, into that flow, to do really great improv, and to hopefully experience yourself in a different way, where you can observe your actions and your behaviors and change them, both in improv but also in real life. That's really cool, and that's my mission, that's my goal. So cool. So this has been a very foundational video, and I'm gonna be, as you can probably tell, each one of these is probably like a whole different video or a whole different segment. But I wanted to show you, I wanted to give one whole video on all these topics, so that in the future when I do make more, I can refer back to this and have it be more informational, so that I can branch off into other key points within these points. So hopefully that made sense. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Please make sure to like and comment. I do love reading comments and interacting with the people that I do have, which are like 2 people. But it's okay, we're gonna grow. We're gonna grow, and we're gonna get to the top. I promise you. It's gonna happen. I can feel it. Other than that, thank you guys so much, and check out my other episodes on my channel. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more new content and really good foundational stuff that you can take into practice, or you can show your friends and really explore.